If you were to look at Yu-Gi-Oh today, you'd find yourself a unique card game, unlike any of its predecessors and rivals. What, with its lack of universal resource system, lack of critical keywords, lack of artist illustration credit for its incoherent art styles, you get the picture. But lost in the 25 years worth of set release is the fact that Yu-Gi-Oh has its roots in the Magic the Gathering tradition. So much so that it was a major source of inspiration for Yu-Gi-Oh's manga writer, Kazuki Takahashi. In the original manga, when Yugi was more interested in torturing souls rather than being a born-again power of friendship truther, the card game Duel Monsters had the original name Magic and Wizards, a not-so-subtle nod to its inspiration. But the parallels continue. Of course, many card game enthusiasts know of the Magic Card Pot of Greed, which would be repeated over and over again in the original anime series, but when Yu-Gi-Oh began production on its physical cardboard cutouts, Konami's Western partner, Upper Deck Entertainment, would pivot away from the term Magic Card in favor of the still-in-service Spell Card, likely to avoid potential litigation from Wizards of the Coast, and so that Google doesn't throw a fit at the search term Magic Cards Yu-Gi-Oh! But the Magic the Gathering homages don't stop with the base game rules. Certain Yu-Gi-Oh cards draw heavy inspiration from MTG classics. Magic the Gathering's Morinfin, who, apologies to my MTG lore nerds, was one of the first Phyrexian horrors, which were the bane of Krovax, which is reflected in Morinfin's flavor text. I looked into its eyes, and its soul was so empty. I saw no reflection, no light there. Krovax. Yu-Gi-Oh's incarnation of the creature simply swapped out the F for a PH, resulting in the birth of Morinfin. As a normal monster, he too has flavor text, but without an expanded lore set surrounding him, all Duelist got was a very blunt, a strange fiend with long arms and razor-sharp talons. Fun fact, despite being utterly worthless as a monster, Morinfin has a large fan base in Yu-Gi-Oh's Japanese OCG community, and as such is featured on official card sleeves, both physically and in the mobile game Duel Links. Many people also point to Yu-Gi-Oh! Icon's Summoned Skull and his similarities to Magic the Gathering's Lord of the Pit, especially in the visual similarities from Summoned Skull's manga art to the Pit Lord, as well as the one-time Japanese name translation of Summoned Demon, which is, it's printed right there. Magic the Gathering inspiration is not limited just to cards though. Full-on archetypes were made in the image and likeness of Magic the Gathering. Look no further than to early Yu-Gi-Oh! Icon Pegasus and his Toon monsters. Almost all Toon monsters have the restriction that they cannot attack the turn that they are summoned. A clever nod to the summoning sickness mechanic seen in Magic the Gathering, as well as other games like Hearthstone. But wait, there's more. While typically in Yu-Gi-Oh! You have to destroy all your opponent's monsters to attack directly, Toons have the ability to attack your opponent through their monster mash, as all high-level Toon monsters have the text, while you control Toon World and your opponent controls no Toon monsters, this card can attack your opponent directly. You can ignore this part. The chance that you, a Toon player, run into one of the other two remaining Toon players is comically low. Back to Summoning Sickness, the card Vengeful Bog Spirit domain expansions the Summoning Sickness upon both players, with the original print from 2004's Labyrinth of Nightmares saying, all monsters on the field cannot attack the same turn that they are summoned, including flip monsters and special summons, which is just the Yu-Gi-Oh! Text-appropriate way of saying all monsters. Of course, sometimes the cultural exchange swings in the opposite direction, and Magic the Gathering gets caught in 4K copying from its imitator. One of the most powerful cards, part of, shall we say, the Power 7 spells in Yu-Gi-Oh!, is Painful Choice. Released in 2002's Spell Ruler, Painful Choice has the extremely powerful effect, select 5 cards from your deck and show them to your opponent. Your opponent selects one card among them, add that card to your hand, and discard the remaining cards to the graveyard. An extremely powerful graveyard setup, the card would be banned and stay banned, where it will likely serve an eternal sentence. Wizards of the Coast saw that and said, watch this. 2004's Champions of Kamigawa would see the release of the card Gifts Ungiven, which had the text, search your library for up to 4 cards with different names and reveal them. Target opponent chooses 2 of those cards, put the chosen cards into your graveyard, and the rest into your hand. Now my puny duelist brain can't quite comprehend how this card is legal in most Magic the Gathering formats, But then I remember that Wizards of the Coast haven't printed the tier limits, or the Ishizu cards, or any modern Yu-Gi-Oh card for that matter. Yu-Gi-Oh has spent the last 25 years careening into its own niche, but the truth is, I wouldn't be here recording a Yu-Gi-Oh video in my dark basement if it wasn't for one Japanese man and his appreciation for tapping mana and casting lands. Hey, check out my Twitter. I rarely post, but the little follower notification makes me feel warm inside.